morning. Are you coming in then? Good morning, and what a show we've got lined up for you today. Yorkshire lass Jane McDonald will be here. She'll be cruising her way down to my house for the morning. That means something else entirely where we come from in Yorkshire. But anyway, I'll be setting sail on a fishing trip to Guernsey on one of my favourite ever food adventures. Top chef Claude Bosi will be here as well. He'll be dropping away with a fantastic recipes of his very own. And don't miss this week's Little Masterclass. We'll be learning all about tomatoes. And top it all off, I'm joined at the house once again by a true icon of Indian cookery. It's the fabulous Cyrus Todiwala!
Thank you.
Wonderful to have you, Chef. Great to have you back.
Thank you.
What are you going to be cooking for us? Because all your dishes are amazing. Last time you were here, you did that amazing sort of Chinese, Indian...
Dragon chicken.
That was amazing.
Can't imagine the number of people asking me to put it on the menu. It's driving me nuts.
It was that fusion of two cuisines.
It is, yes.
Beautiful. But what are we going to be making there?
So today we are actually, in simple terms, of fish in white sauce.
Right.
And it's thickened with rice flour as well as regular flour.
Okay.
And we got lovely turbot today. Wonderful. So turbot will be poached in a liquid, then we'll use the stock itself to make our sauce.
I was wondering why I've only got tomatoes to cook with. That's where I was wondering.
Yeah, because you're going to have turbot to taste.
Exactly, that's it. You spent the budget, but there you go. We're kicking things off today with a recipe for a curd tomato tart. You're going to like this one. So the first thing we do is get our pastry that we're going to make out of here. Homemade puff pastry, which just happens to come out of a packet.
Absolutely.
Like that. So we take our pastry. Now, the thing is with this, if you are going to cheat, which I don't mind people cheating, what you want to do really is get all butter puff pastry. That's the key to it. So don't buy the one that's made out of margarine. Margarine, as we all know, is not food. Never has been food.
No, it's turkey feed.
Which has never been food, has it? So, but look, we're just going to trim this all off. So trim it all off so it's nice and even. So there we go. So you've got a nice little bit of pastry that we've got in here. So butter puff pastry. Now, what causes puff pastry to rise is layers of butter laminated between layers of pastry. So you mix together the water and the flour, you laminate it as you folds. As the butter melts, it creates the pastry to rise. Now, that's fine when we want to do sort of mille feuille. We want those layers to build up. Tomato tart, so much we want it around the edge, but don't want it in the centre because it makes the tart go soggy. So what we're going to do is create a little frame. And the best way to use that is just to use a knife, like a normal table knife. Rather than a sort of chef's knife, you create this little sort of template all the way around. You cut in halfway through the pastry, like that, just along there, like that. And then what you want to do is get yourself a little bit of egg wash. Now, it's better off to do this first rather than try and do it at the end, which is a bit of a nightmare. And I use a little egg yolk for this one, so a little bit of egg yolk around here. Now, rather than put egg yolk in the centre, what you want to do with this is create plenty of air holes. Now, you can do this with a fork, or you can do it with a knife, because you want is that butter as it melts, that would normally cause the pastry to rise, creates the steam. You want that steam to come out. So we create bigger air holes using a knife rather than a fork, because so often when it's the fork, you press it, it can close up while it cooks and it can still rise. So nice with a fork like that. Then, this is tomato tart. We can spread it with a little bit of mustard. Now, you can use a touch of grain mustard, like I am here, but you can, just a little bit, but you can use a little bit of Dijon mustard. I would stay away from sort of English mustard. English mustard, for me, is far too strong for this. I think it just kills it. Kills the flavour of the tomatoes. It's just going to kill the flavour of everything, really. So a little bit of that on here. Not too much, because the flavour is going to come from the cheese that's going to go with this, but it's also going to come from the tomatoes that we're going to spread over the top. So a little bit of grain mustard like that. You can use flavoured grain mustard. Then we take our tomatoes. There we go. And then we take these and then thinly slice these. Now, you want plenty of tomatoes, but the great thing about this will serve plenty of people, but you're not wasting any of the pastry, like I said. You don't want to trim this all off. You can make smaller ones if you want. You can cut the pastry into 4 or into 8, something like that, and do smaller ones. Because interestingly enough, this will actually freeze really well, even with the tomatoes on it. It'll freeze, and you can cook it. It might
be better to actually rebake from frozen as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you can cook it from frozen as well, though. The tomatoes will freeze okay. So you can take the tomatoes like that, and then we're going to basically just pop these, just slice them on here. So you can spread out the tomatoes so you get 4 nice lines like that, and then work your way down. So just like that. You don't want to make it too thick, otherwise it becomes too heavy, and the pastry, again, will go soggy. So we're going to layer these all the way up. Now, while we're doing this, I'm going to put some cheese on the top after it comes out of the oven, but you can put some cheese before you put it in the oven as well. But as you know, if you've been watching the show for the last couple of years now, we try to sort of support all the amazing producers we have in this country. And boy, got some, I mean, you've got some amazing
people, yeah.
Amazing,
absolutely.
And you never stop learning this game. I was up in Lancashire doing a thing called Obsession this year with a wonderful lady called Lisa Goodwin-Allen.
Yep.
And she introduced me to this amazing cheese. She took it out of the fridge and went, here, have a taste of this. So I went, that's definitely the person that we're going to have on the show. So from Lancashire, we're going to go up to Chipping in Lancashire to speak to Faye Kitchen from the, I think it's Legram Organic Dairy. I can see you. You're outside. How are you doing, Faye?
I am, yeah. Good morning.
So this is what happens when I'm at a friend of mine's restaurant doing a gig. She stuffs this cheese in my mouth and then go, this is amazing. And now you're on the show. So tell us about it, because it's all started with your late father, didn't it? Your amazing story that you got. Tell us about your dad.
It did. So my dad has been in the cheese industry for many, many years. And he started at a big company in Longridge and then worked his way up. And eventually, over the years, he wanted to have his own little dairy. So we started Legram Organic Dairy. And we invited Nigel Howarth to come and make cheese with us for the day. And we accidentally made the curd cheeses. And that's where it all started. So as with many accidental creations, it all started incidentally, and then we've carried on making them ever since. And
it's grown from there, and that's the connection. Of course, Nigel Howarth and the hotel, and like Lisa Goodwin-Allen, that kind of Northcote. I mean,
yeah, Northcote Manor.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the cheese that you're doing now, has that differed so much when you first started it? Because you've taken it over from your dad now, and you've got a great story about the gizmos and the gadgets we're going to get to in a minute. But has the cheese changed at all? I mean, I'm presuming you've increased the quantity that you're producing, but also the variety that you're producing. But you still make it by hand.
Oh yeah, we've carried on Dad's ethos completely. We've not changed any of his recipes because at the end of the day, this was his dream, and we want to continue it. We want to continue his legacy. So everything's still done by hand. It's still done very slowly and traditionally, as we can possibly do it. And the cheeses are very much the same as they were when we first created them. We had to tweak it a little bit because we'd never made it before. So Dad had to recreate it. And that was challenging for a few weeks, but he managed to recreate it, and then we've been producing them ever since. And the chefs in the area absolutely love them because they're so versatile.
Well, they do, and we've got a selection in front of us over here. You get to taste a few of these. So if you want to take your knife and then cut into whichever ones you want. So tell us about, first of all, which one's the longest cheese you've been making? Is that the soft cheese, the cobble, the ramshackle? Because you're using a variety of different milks, aren't you? You're not just using cow's milk, you're using there's sheep's milk over here, there's goat's milk, using a variety of different milks.
We do, yes. So we want to sort of cover all the bases, really, and so there's so many intolerances and allergies out there. The only one I've not been able to create yet is a vegan one. I really struggle with that one, but I just can't get it to turn into cheese, unfortunately. But yeah, the original one is the Lancashire cobble. That was the one we first started, and then the ramshackle, because a local farmer to us, who's on the Legram estate, is a sheep milk farmer, and we wanted to support him as much as we possibly could. So that's what Cyrus is currently trying. That's our ramshackle sheep's cheese, and so it doesn't get any more local than that.
And then you're doing the crumbly cheeses as well. Tell us about this big one that you've got over here. This one that we've got over here. What's that one?
So that's actually our flagship cheese. That's what we're most well known for. That's what we've won most awards for. That's our organic creamy Lancashire. And then you've also got the Crumbler Lancs, which is the traditional Lancashire cheese that's synonymous with Lancashire cheese.
He's very happy over here, Faye. I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do this tartlet. We just take a little bit of black pepper over this now, and then you can see how beautiful that looks. Now, you can, if you want, put the cheese on the top, but because this is a fresh cheese, I think you put it on after. So what we do is put black pepper on. Don't put any salt on because it draws the moisture out of the tomatoes, makes the pastry go soggy. Pop it in the oven, and I've got one that's been in the oven for about half an hour, 20 minutes. And this comes straight out of the oven like that. And we've got, look at this. This is a nice little tartlet. Now, the great thing about this is you can serve it nice and warm, you can serve it cold, but also the great thing about this curd cheese, you can actually just I think you can just flake this over the
Just
top.
like this, or you can puree it if you like.
Yeah, you can puree it, you can blend it, you can put this over the top, but you don't want it to sort of... if you put this on beforehand, I just think it's just going to ruin the cheese as well to go with it.
I know the vegans are missing out on some real good stuff there.
But this is absolutely... It is absolutely delicious. Now, I mentioned earlier about your dad. You used to do demos with him and stuff like that. And he was a big lover of gadgets and, you know, all manner of sort of memorabilia. And I can see some of it, the dairy memorabilia behind you. You managed to keep that legacy going as well. Tell us, what is that thing over your shoulder? Obviously, there's milk churns. What is the other thing?
Yeah, this is a cream separator. So it was used years gone by to separate the cream from the milk, and then they could make the butter or ice cream or whatever they were using for it. So it's Dad loved old cheese making memorabilia, and he wanted to. His main aim was to educate the public about cheese and dairy making past and future. So that's why we've got the past as you walk in, and you've got the future as you walk through the door into the main dairy.
Anyway, best of luck with everything as well. And thank you for being a part of this. And it shows that in our job, really, you never stop learning because, you know, there are producers all around the country, in Lancashire as well. And people are going to love your accent as well because your accent's fantastic. But thank you for being a part of this. Best of luck with everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much indeed, James.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thanks, Cyrus. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
See, how amazing is that? So there we have it, my sort of tomato and curd cheese tart. And you can see what's happening with this cobbled cheese. As it just sits there, it just melts into it. If you put that in the oven with the tomatoes, you're just going to destroy it. But just put it on afterwards. A little pinch of salt over the top, just to finish that off. And there we have it. My tomato and fresh curd cheese tart. Easy as that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you very much, sir.
Dive into that one. Tell me what you think. I can see you're very impressed with that cheese.
I am very impressed with the cheese, actually.
But
I'm thinking of ways in which I could use it, actually.
What would you do with it? How would you use it first?
Well, one of our top sellers is now the cheese chili toast that we are doing on the menu.
All right.
And I think some of these as a combination would work extremely well with that because you just...
Spiced or not spiced?
Spiced, yeah, of course,
Right.
of course,
Okay.
of course. Yeah.
No spices on this one, just tomatoes.
So you
little
don't
bit
need
of mustard, a little bit of cheese. But
this kind of pastry.
the pastry's, you know, although it's bought in, you can see it's all cooked nicely. It's nice and crisp. And there's no waste with it. That's the great thing. But you can cut it, like I said, you can cut it into eights. You can make individual ones. It's up to you. But
Fantastic.
great ingredients, simple as that, easy as that. Right, still to come, I'm off on a food adventure to Guernsey, and the amazing Jane McDonald will be here very shortly, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, Cyrus and I will be trying to answer some of your culinary questions. I'll see you in a minute. Enjoy that, Chief. Welcome back. Now I'll be giving you a masterclass in tomatoes a little bit later, and I'll be laying on a dish of plaice with champagne for the one and only Jane McDonald very shortly. But first, I'm here in the kitchen with Chef Cyrus Todiwala, and the two of us are going to help some of your kitchen dilemmas. Now, you're a professor at this sort of game, so this will be a walk in the park for you.
You think so?
No, so really. This guy knows more about cooking than ever he's legend. So we should be joined on the line now by Nigel Ambrose from Chester. Are you there, Nigel?
Yes, I'm here, James.
In the comfort of your own kitchen. First of all, thank you for watching the show as well. Now, obviously, a keen cook. How can we help you with this interesting question, this one?
Yeah, it's a question really about edible oils. There are many different types of oils that are available. Some for roasting, some for frying, some for dips, some for dressings. I just want to know what are the best oils for what uses. And also, when would you use oil instead of using butter or even hard fats in cooking?
Well, it's interesting, this one. It's quite an interesting subject. You walk around the supermarket aisle. I was around there the other day.
Yeah.
You've almost got two aisles of oils, haven't you, really?
Nowadays.
Tremendous volume of different types of stuff. So, Nigel, we're going to try and block through. The benefit of you and a lot of our viewers, we're going to block through and sort of simplify this. So let's talk about olive oils, first of all, because they're the ones that everybody's raving about. Now, there are distinct different types of olive oils. Extra virgin olive oil being the prized one. You can actually break that down into categories again.
Absolutely, again.
Because you can look at the acidity of oil.
Yep.
I know we talked about it.
The acidity, yeah, just talked about
the
that.
acidity, the lower the acidity, the better the oil.
The better the oil.
But also the single estate olives, you'll also get what they call cold press. Single estate, where the olives actually come from one place, particularly something like this. They come from one area, a bit like wine. And it's highly sort of prized, highly sought after. Because if you think about a lot of the standard extra virgin olive oil, if it's just classed as a normal olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, one that you find in a supermarket with a label, just a supermarket label olive oil, for instance, that could be a blend of different olives from all around the world.
All around the world.
It doesn't have to be from one place. It could be all around the world, blended, and then you just end up with an extra virgin olive oil. Now, then you can break olive oil, extra virgin olive oil down into segments. So you've got extra virgin olive oil at the top. That can be then sub-broken down as well, which gets quite complicated. The next one is obviously your normal, so from extra virgin olive oil to just normal olive oil. And then you can break it down again. You've got the word called pomace. Pomace oil.
That's when they use heat in it.
Yeah, so as they want to extract more oil out, so you've got the cold press, the top one, which produce a really good quality oil but more waste. Then you've got this, they apply heat to it.
Yep.
They put it in usually a blender and start to churn it.
It's like a centrifuge, yeah.
Yeah, to then withdraw as much oil as they possibly can do, like wringing some clothes, wringing all that liquid out. Because of that, the quality of the oil differs and the standard of the olive oil differs dramatically. And the taste differs as well. When they apply heat to it, it's usually getting more oil out of it, but the olives are not as good.
The acid level increases.
Yeah, it's kind of, so that's broken down into that. Now, moving on from that, hopefully that clarifies that, does it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Moving on from that, then we've got the vegetable oil, your frying oils. Now, all oils, apart from these, are heat sensitive. So the minute you warm up any of these oils, and particularly when we start to talk about the nut oils, it kills the flavour. It can kill the flavour dramatically. So if you particularly heat it too much, destroy it. So that's why we use sunflower oils, you use vegetable oils like that.
Groundnut oil.
It has a neutral flavour.
Yep.
Doesn't taste of anything. Now, that's particularly good if we are going to use it for frying, but this is also what you would make a classic French dressing with. So French dressing would be white wine vinegar, would be a touch of Dijon mustard. I've done it on the show many, many times. It would be vegetable oil, usually, with a little bit of water. Mix that together. That's your classic dressing. So you're getting a little flavour of the oil, little flavour of the vinegar. Now, different chefs will add a touch of extra virgin olive oil with a little bit of vegetable oil, so to complement it. But it's really that tweaking as you go. It's really a chef's little secret recipe for their dressings. That's what they use. But standard one, when I was in France, vegetable oil, white wine vinegar, touch of water, and you can either add egg yolks and bits and pieces, usually Dijon mustard. That's that. Now, one final thing we've got about the nut oils, which I know you're a big fan of as well.
Well, the nut oils are great, but they are not to be cooked with.
Yeah.
So the moment you heat them, you're going to burn them straight away.
So you did this amazing Chinese dish on the show a few months back.
Yep.
Using sesame oil, for instance, and it's the prime mistake that people make when they're cooking.
When they cook with it, yeah.
The minute you put it in the pan, it just burns, and you get this horrible taste of burnt food.
But in the house, that could last you half a year or more.
Yeah, it's because you put that in a hot wok. What you would do is use groundnut oil, which you mentioned.
Absolutely.
Something like the vegetable oil, which you can get extremely hot, which is not heat sensitive, and then you're using all these sort of flavoured oils, your nut oils, as a seasoning.
Hazelnut, almond, whatever, sesame, and just put a few drops in, literally.
Yeah. So remember I mentioned to you about that dressing, the French dressing, where you're using a little bit of vegetable oil. If you were creating something like a walnut oil or an almond oil, you would mix some of this with some of this. This is your classic sort of almond oil. A little bit goes a long, long way. In a restaurant, this will probably last a year. Just to give you an idea of how, depends how busy the restaurant is, but this is it could last a long time.
At home, it goes in the dowry.
Yeah, exactly. That's a long, long time. But all the sort of nut oils, usually the parameters, they're all heat sensitive, and that goes for things like the pumpkin seed oil and that kind of stuff. So use them cold or warm to drizzle over the top of soups, over the top of warm food, that kind of stuff, but never use them to cook with.
But some of these, you whip them into a little bit of butter, and you can use them as a seasoning for various things. So almond oil in particular, because it's got the strength, take a bit of softened butter, whip it up, and then you can smear it on toast. You can drop it into soup as a dollop at the end. Yeah. Tastes amazing.
All that kind of stuff with pumpkin oil over the top of that.
That's only because we are butter lovers. Yeah.
There you go. You'll have to watch this and write it all down back, but hopefully that's covered a lot of it. Is that right?
I need a big cupboard to keep that.
Exactly. Or more baskets above your head. Exactly that.
Buy a lazy Susan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Get a lazy Susan. Keep turning them round.
But there you go. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
No, thank you very much, James. Thank you.
There you have it. If you've got any questions or anything to do with food, then do drop us a line to one of the addresses on the screens right now. We'll try to answer them on the future shows. Still to come, I'll be giving you a mascas in tomatoes. And Cyrus will be cooking for us a little bit later on the show as well. But don't go anywhere, because after the break, I'll be joined in the house by a certain Jane McDonald. Looking forward to that one. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, coming up, I'll be doing a spot of fishing around the seas around Guernsey, and there's a little masterclass in tomatoes coming up for you a little bit later on in the show. But first, she's cruised all the way around the world for a BAFTA-winning TV series, but today she's swapping the captain's table for the real kitchen table at my house. It's the one and only Jane McDonald!
Bless you, darling.
Big love for you in the house.
Oh,
and also champagne, I believe. Champagne, I believe. That's what you wanted. It was on your rider.
This is perfect.
Eh?
Absolutely perfect.
So, well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations on everything you're doing as well. Because everything you're doing turns touch to gold as well. You've got a new album out we're going to talk about. You're about to hit tour. You've got new TV shows. So tell me about that. Well, first of all, let's talk about the album then.
Yeah.
This is the thing you've been doing. In lockdown, you've been doing lots of bits and pieces and writing as well.
Yeah.
You've been on your own piano.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I've got a piano in my lounge and I don't get much chance to sit and just have a little play. And so once I'd done all my cupboards, like you did,
because this is because you've been touring quite a lot anyway, haven't you? Before COVID and before
honestly,
all that.
yeah,
it's just relentless.
Relentless. So yeah. Then I sat down at the piano. I worked with Sean Barry, who's my MD, and the band because obviously everybody was available.
Yeah.
So we went into a local chairworks up in Castleford where I didn't know about because I usually come down to London to do all my recording, and it's fantastic. So, a lot of my band are Yorkshire. In fact, 3 of them live across the road. Because
you're still based up there, aren't you?
Yeah, I still live in Wakefield. Yeah, so everybody's really shocked that I still do that.
Because that's where you fell in love with music in the first place, wasn't it? Going into seeing church and stuff like that. Wasn't that when you first started?
Yeah. Oh, you've done your research, haven't you? You're stalking me. You're not stalking, are you?
Yeah, exactly. But that was the case, though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah. I've always loved music, and then I wanted to write a little bit, and I've been writing a long time, actually, and my fans know all about my writing. So this album was just a couple of the fan favourites and then a lot of my own songs on. And Sean, as I said, Sean's done an amazing job on the production.
So you tell us about the album, then you name it, it's called?
Let the Light In.
He's obviously done that many albums.
Well, yeah.
The latest one.
Yeah, the latest.
Yeah, funny enough, that's the latest name for your tour.
It is.
Exactly, I've got that one right. See,
yeah, you know more than I do.
I do know more about you. I said to you, if there was a master blind on you, I would nail it. I'd nail it. Nail it.
Just let me have a drink. Look.
Exactly, no problem. So we got a beautiful little bit of fish. This is some glorious plaice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely spectacular. With fish like this as well, we don't want to waste any of it. So the bones, the skin and bits and pieces, I'm actually going to use to make a nice little sauce, a little stock from it as well. So we're just doing a lovely little stock, and I've got some gorgeous, fresh asparagus, which is banging season at the moment. I've got some beautiful spinach. I'm going to do a classic sort of champagne sauce as well, but I've skinned it like this.
Yeah.
So you just take the skin off, and then I'm just going to cut this up, because when you're cooking these little fillets, they're going to take no more than about a minute to cook. Very quick to cook.
Have you taken the bones out?
There's bones. The bones are still in this.
Oh, that's all right.
So there's no bones in that. And then I use the bones and the skin and the stock and the bits and pieces to make the stock, to make the sauce for you as well.
Right, lovely.
So that's the idea. So tell us about the tour then, because you're about to hit the road. It starts off with a big celebration up in Scarborough.
Scarborough? It's the Queen's Jubilee. Yorkshire's Queen's Jubilee.
Yeah.
So, and I love Yorkshire. I mean, I love it. And I was lucky that I got to spend quite a lot of time up in Yorkshire when I was doing the Yorkshire programme.
Yeah.
And then this lovely gig came up. So would you like to do the Queen's Jubilee at Scarborough Arena? I thought. Yeah. Which part of yes do you not get here?
Scarborough has got an arena, by the way.
Oh, yes, it has.
It has, yeah.
And it's going to be, I mean, it's a time in history that we should all be celebrating.
Yeah.
And it's going to be spectacular.
So you start your tour. You start the actual start of it is at the Jubilee. That's the idea of it.
Yes.
And then you go off on the road.
Then we're on the road. I'm
And you're
going to Rhodes
taking the whole
first.
band with you as well?
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to Rhodes. I'm going to Greece first.
Of course you are, yeah.
To do a holiday with the fans and doing 4 concerts with the band. And then we come back.
What are you calling this? A holiday with the fans?
Yeah. All right.
I love this.
Well, it is, isn't it?
What?
You know, we like to have a good time.
Right.
You know, life's too short. Let's have a good...
So
we're here,
you're doing a
let's do
holiday
it.
with the fans, right?
Yeah, holiday with the fans and the band. Then we come back and we're straight into rehearsal for the Jubilee, which honestly is going to be amazing.
So this is touring all over the UK? You're gonna
Absolutely
be doing
all over the UK. So we're Blackpool, Wimbledon, we're Scotland, Wales. So it's a big tour.
But I take it because the reason why you want to do this, because I mean, when you speak to a lot of people who are involved in the music industry, a bit like being in the restaurant industry, you know, we couldn't do it. Now everybody's waiting. The theatres are all packed and pre-booked, and everybody wants to get out on the road.
Yeah.
The enjoyment factor from you is that's where the buzz is, because that's where, in theory, that's where you started. Live music is where it all started.
And it's what I do. You know, I'm a turn properly now. You know, that's what my main job is.
Properly now.
I've always been a turn, but I'm a real turn.
Right.
And then I do TV on the side, which is lovely. But
So for those people who don't know, what got you spotted in the first place then?
well, it was being on a cruise ship.
But what got you on the cruise ship? Because there was quite an interesting story to get you on the cruise ship, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, my friend came and said, you know, you should. I was bored. I was doing the club circuit for so long, and you know, it's like everything else. And I just thought, I want to do something different. And then my mate Vicky came and said, "Oh, I'm doing some cruising. Why don't you come on that?" So
sorry, you're getting a sort of a plaice stock sauna on screen at the moment.
Yeah, I need all the help I can get. Yeah. So anything that's going, I'll have it.
So she then told you to apply for a job on the cruise ship,
and I went straight away. 3 weeks, I were on, never looked back. And it just so happened that the BBC were on that at the same time as I was doing my show.
It's timing's everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose like anything
But
else.
hey, it could have all gone so horribly wrong, you know.
Well, it didn't do wrong because you've travelled the world, but particularly a place that you love more than anything else, of course, in Yorkshire. We're going to see, if you haven't seen this, here's a little clip while I just prep the spinach and get ready to cook our piece of fish. But while this is prepping, just check out this.
It's amazing what you remember as a kid. And this was my first tramway ride here in Scarborough. As a child, I just knew that this was a really big event, and I loved it. Here we go. Woohoo! Wow. I love the fact that they've kept it original. It's the same as I remember it all those years ago. And just the excitement of being with my brother and him going, "Oh, look at that, and look at the view," and it was just great.
It's those memories, isn't it? I remember I was seeing that. We saw it in the office earlier, but I remember seeing that and going, I remember that.
Yeah?
I remember that. That's just memories of when you were a childhood and stuff like that. They haven't changed anything. That's the magical stuff.
And such great memories, you know, and you forget easily, don't you?
So obviously you toured around Yorkshire. What's your favourite place? Because there is so much to see up in that neck of the woods. What's still your favourite place?
I think probably Wakefield. I know it sounds a bit weird, that, but I love being at home. You know, how the heck I've got a travel show on? Actually, because I'm not that keen on travel. But I do. I'm away such a lot. So my favourite place is just my home. When I get back and I can kick back and just relax. And
But you say you don't like travelling, but I've been watching recently you did this amazing show.
Yeah.
In the Caribbean as well. I mean, that is pretty special.
It was fabulous, I must
Pretty
admit.
special. You say you don't like travelling, but over there, it's pretty special out there.
Well, I do. I mean, I'm always on the go. I'm always away. So, but I've got such a great filming team, and we have such a laugh.
It does appear to have you have good fun.
Yeah, I do, and I get into it. I like to, you know, send myself up a bit. You know, I'm not bothered what I look like in a swimming costume anymore. I don't care.
Right.
So I get my cosy on, I jump in places, and yeah, I have a good time. I really like to get involved with what's going on.
Well, congratulations on it. We enjoy watching it. Look, we're just going to finish off our fish to show you very, very quickly how to finish this off. So, salt and pepper.
Right.
So you salt and pepper this side, so when we turn it over, you don't get any salt and pepper on the other side.
Okay.
So it's nice and clean, all right? I can see you looking a bit bemused at this moment in time. Thinking, do I have to replicate this? Yes, in 10 minutes, you have to stand here, and I'm sat over there, and you've got to cook it.
Don't be silly.
Right, look. You got serious for a minute then, didn't you?
Yeah, no.
So, a little bit of butter, all right?
Right.
So, what we're going to do is, this is really simple to cook our fish. So, with fish like this, no more than about a minute, really, with fish like this. So, you can almost see it halfway cooking up the side.
Right.
Then, when it gets to this way, we then turn this over. Look, you've got this beautiful colour, like that. We then squeeze the lemon over the top. All the while, this sauce is reducing down, and we call this to nappe.
To nappe.
So we nappe, not nappy, nappe.
Right.
Over the top of the fish. And look at that, you get this gorgeous glazed fish. We then lift this off. Because we don't want this sauce to separate this sauce that's in the pan.
Right.
So you've got your nice little bit there.
Right.
This is the key to it. So this is your champagne sauce. Now,
Lovely.
whether you're using white wine or champagne, this is the key to it. So you reduce this down now. Now we add some double cream.
Love it.
In there. While that's happening, we can then just pop this in the oven, just to keep warm.
Right.
Just keep that there, just to keep it nice and warm. And then, finally, we can crank up the heat of this, because this is not far off now. The French have a wonderful term, it's called monter au beurre. Now, I'm sure you've been there, it's your local when you go down to London, but you've been to the Ritz.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a guy called John Williams, as the chef of the Ritz. He's the only chef I know that uses twice as much butter than what I do.
Right. That's a lot of butter.
And he makes sauces like this. It's the classic way to make a fish sauce. So you start off and you add butter.
And butter.
And you keep going.
And butter.
You keep going. But this is to monter au beurre, it's to thicken a sauce with butter. So you keep whisking it in like that, and it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. Now, at this moment in time, while this is now boiling, we can then prepare the rest of it.
Right.
We just take some chives. There we go.
You've got half a packet of butter in there.
2/3. 2/3. 2/3. It's enough for 3.
Is it?
Well,
right.
2.
Oh, that's all right.
2 at
then.
a push. 2 at a push. But we got a nice little bit of sauce. Then we took some salt and pepper.
Right.
Salt and pepper is technically a herb, so really it's a veg, so it's part of your 5 a day.
Perfect.
There you go. So
Yeah.
it's a balance. And then we can then... It's good, this.
Nice.
Now we finish this off with some champagne.
Yeah. That's a bit better.
A little bit of champagne.
Yeah.
Like that. And then fresh chives. A little squeeze of lemon. There we go. And then I'm going to get you to have a taste of this. Normally I get the guests to sort of taste it when they're going to be eating, but just have a taste of that.
Oh, shall
You
I
thought I was
take it
going to
off?
feed you then,
I
didn't
did, yeah. Can you not? Oh, my God. That's amazing, isn't it? Oh, wow.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, gosh, that's gorgeous.
Amazing, isn't it? So we just take our lovely bit of fish and then it's ready to plate up. So because we use these little cloths, it drains
All
the liquor.
Yeah.
So you can put that. You've got a nice little bit of spinach. And then
Oh, look at that. How
finally what
pretty
you
that
do is you just take your beautiful sauce. And this is the key. This is the champagne sauce.
Oh, wow.
You just put it over
That
the top.
sauce is incredible.
The key to this is simplicity. That's the key to it.
I could drink a pint of that.
Exactly. But there you have it. A beautiful bit of Cornish plaice with new season asparagus, champagne sauce. Done.
Marvellous.
Jane McDonald, bon appetit.
Oh, thank you very much, James Martin.
Your first course.
Thank you. First course. Look at
First
this.
course.
Do you know, I've got a heck of an appetite.
So what do you reckon?
Gosh, it's just delicious.
Nice, isn't it? You know, the key to that is not obviously the wine you can add at the beginning, then you can add at the end. But with champagne, you just a little bit at the beginning, but it's the end.
It makes it special, doesn't it?
But it's amazing that people think they'll freak out with the amount of butter. But John Williams would use twice that. But you get this beautiful texture from it. The fish is lovely and cooked. And the asparagus for everything else. It's just a simple little dish, but you don't have to do it with champagne. You just do it with normal stocks. You just do it with a bit of cream, just a little bit of butter. But take the same idea. And if you want to put white wine, then you use that for white wine. But it's similar sort of.
See, I feel special because you put champagne in it for me.
Well, you got the rest of it to drink, though. That's the problem. But you've got the entire morning to be here to do it.
That's fine by me, look.
It's a good start. Anyway, we'll chat a little bit more later on in the show. I'll be treating Jane to a lamb tagine later on the show, like I said. And I'm off on a food adventure to Guernsey very shortly. But join me after the break when the incredibly talented Claude Bosi, the 2-star Michelin Claude Bosi, will be firing up these very stoves. I'll see you in a bit.
Don't mind me.
It's nice, isn't it? Welcome back. Now I'll be sharing some recipe ideas for tomatoes in this week's Little Masterclass, and there's plenty more to come from my guest Jane McDonald a little bit later. But first, a chef whose career has taken him from Lyon to Ludlow to the kitchen of one of the most iconic restaurant buildings in London. It's the brilliant Claude Bosi! Yeah! Welcome back, Chefy. This is quite interesting. White asparagus.
First one.
Very French.
I love it.
OK, so what are we going to do with it?
No, we're making a cold soup.
OK.
Donc and it's a cold soup which is going to be accommodated and seasoning with the Saint-Félicien, with the cheese from the Rhône-Alpes area, from where I'm from, near Lyon.
Okay.
So the main thing to do will be we're going to start with the velouté.
Okay.
So you got choice. If you want to, you can keep the skin or peel them. I like peeling the asparagus. You get less bitterness.
Now, you mentioned Lyon. What is it about Lyon and its food? What makes it so special?
I mean, we like eating to start. It's the producers around of it.
But the gastronomic capital, I mean, it's just unbelievable, isn't it?
We've got the wine, we've got the produce, you've been there.
Yeah.
It's just, the market is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I'm intrigued. What was the conversation you had? Was you working in Michelin, 3-star Michelin restaurants in France?
Yeah.
What was the conversation you had when you went, do you know what? Because at the time, the UK wasn't that well renowned for its food.
Yeah.
What was the conversation you had to say, I'm going to leave it all behind and going to go to the UK?
Do you know what? I finished in Paris, and I come back home to Lyon. And I said to my dad, I want to go traveling. I said, OK, where do you want to go? Yeah. He said, I want to go to Britain. I don't think we can say that because he's coming to England soon for my birthday, and I don't think it's going to be a great welcome. But he said, why do you want to go there? Yeah. I said, no, you know what? I want to go. It's a good country. I can learn the English. That's why I'm still here, still learning. And after that, from that, go traveling. Yeah. And I've been here for 20-something years.
But I mean, when you moved to iconic, you're talking about Lyon being iconic in terms of France. You and Sean Hill put Ludlow on the culinary map. That was outside of London. Ludlow was where it was happening.
Do you know what? Yeah, it was. It was a place where it was 3 restaurants with a Michelin star. Yeah. And we just cook. We never thought about becoming the gastronomy of Britain at the time. We just thought, you know what? Let's do it, and Michelin recognized what we were doing. Yeah. And we thought, this is great. And we had people coming to see Sean, coming to see us, coming to see Mr. Underhill, and you could have a full weekend.
And eat some of the best food in the world.
And the produce there are fantastic. I mean, Ludlow for the produce, the Shropshire for the produce are just really amazing. Yeah. And this is why it worked very well. And I've been there 10 years, and I've been in London since 2007. Yeah. I try to not use the base. It can be a bit tough, very bitter. So yeah, I've been there.
So it gets bitter further down the stove?
Yeah. Okay. No, the top is sweeter. Right. Towards the end is a bit more bitter.
Could you use this same idea with normal green asparagus or not?
Yes, you can. Yeah. But, green asparagus has for me, the British asparagus are one of the best in the world. Yeah. But the green asparagus, you just need to cook them in a bit of butter.
You don't need to do anything with it, yeah.
Nothing.
It's simplicity more than anything
Nothing.
Else, really.
And sometimes people with white asparagus are a bit scared. They can be a bit bitter, and they're a bit scared to eat them. Yeah. But they're actually a beautiful produce.
But what I love about this is the simplicity of it. So there's no shallots, no garlic, none of that.
No, because I want to keep
the flavour of the asparagus.
Flavour of the asparagus. This is very important. Put the lid on just to get the water coming back up. And that's it. No, we're going to cook them for a minute like this.
Okay. Only for a minute, that's all, yeah.
Yeah, no, after I will put the milk and the cream.
Okay, all right. Now, I mentioned iconic buildings at the beginning of this. You've now moved, you set up base in the Michelin building, this iconic building. I never knew that the Michelin building never had a Michelin star.
No, I didn't know that until I moved in.
Yeah.
Everybody said to me, you never have a Michelin star here.
Yeah.
I said, is that played jinx or what's going on? And no, never.
But this is an iconic building in central London. So, sorry, what are you doing there? You got the rice?
This, I put the rice in a dry pan because I'm going to, one of the flavor we're going to get to the soup is toasted rice.
Okay.
So this is a flavor I find in Japan.
Right.
When you do the tea ceremony, at the end, they give you a bowl of water, mineral water, infuse it with some brown rice, toasted rice. And that lovely nutty flavor, I fall in love with it. And I try to use it always with some of our cooking we can do.
That's where you get a little method into your brain that's ticking away over here. With
That's
this.
it. You get, that's where you get, you know, traveling is where you get your flavor. And you get one flavor, oh, this is magic. And you just want to use it, that's it. And you cook it, very healthy. It's all good cream and good milk.
So that's milk and cream in there, yeah?
From Lyon, that's where you come back. Okay, then just caramelize this.
Okay.
And we cook it, that will cook for, I don't know, until it's cooked. It don't take very long.
Right.
Okay, the Saint-Félicien, we're going to do a cream with this.
Okay.
Donc the idea of it is to, you know, I like my mixer and mixing things together.
Yeah.
We're just going to make a puree.
Sounds really good.
Okay, let's mix this. Okay. Donc, the Saint-Marcelin, the Saint-Félicien, sorry, in the mixer.
Right.
Donc the cheese inside of the mixer,
Yeah.
just mix it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put some of the cream, some of the milk, and make a puree.
Now you're calling this a bavoise, like a little. This is what we end up with. This over
Donc
here.
the bavois is a mix of puree. Could be a fruit puree, could be anything with gelatin.
Okay.
And we're going to add whipped cream to it.
Okay. Which is what we've got in there. So the stuff that's in the machine is this.
Yeah. The stuff in the machine is this,
Yeah.
but liquid.
Now, as well as obviously we're talking about London and your restaurant, your
Bibendum, yeah.
double Michelin star now, 2 Michelin stars. I reckon it won't be long before you get 3. Yeah. You've now sort of expanded. The empire's expanding. You're now in the Isle of Wight.
Yes. What a beautiful island.
Yeah, tell us about the Isle of Wight. It is great ingredients though in the Isle of Wight.
Oh, I was just talking to a supplier yesterday. I said I want to do the round of all the local suppliers.
Yeah.
To understand the produce. But yes,
dairy, cheese,
asparagus,
yeah,
the strawberries, of course the tomato,
yeah, obviously garlic.
The garlic.
So what do you? I mean, tell us about the restaurant then. You've got.
Donc I'm involved with an hotel in Yarmouth.
Yeah.
And we're doing this, and it's working great. It's working great. The view is amazing. We've got 17 bedrooms.
Yeah.
You see? Look. Donc that cream you want to keep that ribbon texture.
So it's nice and soft. Yeah.
Nice and soft. And we're going to serve it. Look, see, that's it.
Yeah.
No lump, no bits in it.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it.
That's that one done. Okay.
The asparagus is nearly finished, and I'm going to mix.
And if it wasn't just that's enough with the George, you've got this is an exciting progress that you're doing in London. This is the kind of food that you want to eat at your place every day. This
will make me happy.
Yeah, tell us about the new place that you got.
Donc we are doing a Mediterranean restaurant, cuisine niçoise.
Yeah.
Where, not just niçoise, Mediterranean. I mean, I'm even thinking to do a tagine there. You know, this type of. We're going to have dishes near Marseille, near Nice, up all the way to Sasni. I'm going to do a tagine, where I think is a proper sign of the Mediterranean. And this will be a great concept. Will be small restaurants, 60 seats, 60, 70 seats, and that's it. You know, just like you say, just what you want to eat on a nice sunny day.
I wish you all the best with it. It's going to be fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So you blend that. And then we've got the finished article, which is in one of these somewhere.
Okay, donc I've got.
So that's blended.
That's blending there. I will show it to you after.
Yeah.
And then you got blended soup. You've got some of this white asparagus who's been cooked early.
Right.
I'm going to put it in the bottom of the bowl.
Trying to think how your brain developed this, but go on.
You know, it's all about. Keep in mind, it's all about the asparagus.
Yeah.
We don't want anything added to it. Yeah. We will lose the flavor. Everything is about this. Okay, you got the asparagus in the bottom.
Yeah.
Donc this is velouté.
Yeah.
And this at home, and we can make the soup. You don't have to make it that fancy, but that's it. You get a bit of toasted rice. You get some of this
So
black
you take
rice.
wild rice and then deep fry it, or
Yeah,
fry
just
it?
to give a bit of texture. This is an oil we have made with this. Donc when it's toasted, when it's toasted,
Yeah.
we blist it with some cheap oil. Not cheap oil, but
Cheap oil.
cheap oil.
Some chip oil.
From the chippy. From the chippy. Oil from the chippy. We put it with some, it's not grapeseed oil.
Yeah,
No flavor in it.
Okay.
Okay? So this is mixed with it, and you get this lovely toasted flavor. Taste this. Smell it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You put it on it. Okay?
Yeah.
And listen, I've gone to a restaurant in Paris not long ago with some friend.
Yeah.
And that dish is for you, Sat and Claire.
Exactly.
It's an homage to you. And the idea of it is we're just going to make a big quenelle in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. So I'll let you stop the machine there. But give us the name of this dish, because I mean I know it's going to
It's
taste
a
amazing.
white asparagus soup with toasted rice and Saint-Félicien cream.
Claude Bosi, everybody. Right, I'm looking forward to this. Can I have a taste?
Go for it.
This is looking good. It's looking good.
A bit of cream.
But you say it's just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but
Is it?
you know it is.
I haven't tasted
You know
it.
it is. You know it tastes amazing. Taste that.
Is it?
You know it tastes amazing. With the cheese and the...
Ah, the cheese. It's from Lyon, that's why the cheese is good.
You know it tastes amazing.
Yeah, it's delicious. Could be a bit colder, but delicious.
It's perfect. Claude Bosi, everybody. Right, Mr. Cyrus Todiwala will be cooking for us a little bit later on. I'll be treating Jane McDonald to a lamb tagine at the end of the show. But I'll see you after the break when I'll be exploring the seas around Guernsey on another one of my food adventures. I'll see you in a bit. This is amazing. Welcome back. Now, still to come, we've got a tomato masterclass, and I'll be chatting again with my brilliant guest, Jane McDonald, very shortly. But before that, I thought I'd take a look at some of the amazing dishes you've been cooking at home. And this week, you've excelled yourself. First up, we've got a video from David Rock, who's been hard at work making these amazing pizzas in his wood-fired oven at home. How good does that look? Brilliant there. Well done goes to David Mathewson for this picture of his paella. Loads of you have been trying that recipe since I made it for Denise Van Olden a few weeks ago. But that one is pretty good to me. Look at that. Even sort of prepared the mussels as well out of the shells. And a big well done goes to Joe Shaw, who's recreated Jose Pizarro's hamon croquetas. These tasted amazing. I remember those that Jose did. But there's the before bit, and there's the after bit as well. But they tasted fantastic. The key to that, though, is not make them too thick as well. Cook them nice and gently so everything just melts and they soften up. They're just delicious. And finally, top marks this week goes to Graham Fox, who's put a Mediterranean twist on a British classic with these ninduya and cheddar cheese sausage rolls. Pretty good to me. OK, it's time to take a look back at one of my favourite ever food adventures. This week, I'm off to Guernsey, where I'm making local chef and a good mate of mine, Mark Jordan, to take in the high seas and a spot of fishing. Enjoy this one.
OK, boys, this is the spot we've chosen today for turbot. The reason we've chosen it is because the bottom's lovely and sandy, soft sand, so that turbots can bury in the bottom. Then they jump up and ambush your bait as it goes past. We've got live sand eels. We'll use those for bait.
Yeah.
It gives them a bit of attraction to come and grab it, OK?
Right, OK.
Weather's against us, but you can do it. I know you can. Best of luck with your fishing. See you later.
Challenge accepted.
Nice way to spend your afternoon, isn't it?
It's all right, isn't it?
What's the prize for who catches the biggest one, then?
The prize?
Yeah. How's about I get to keep your new monkey bike? I know, it's quite a wager, that one, but what do you reckon?
I might be making a sandwich at this rate.
Tuna sandwich.
No, cheese and ham. I have to say, to be honest with you, they're looking a bit more optimistic than what I am, to be honest.
Hey, I'm going to catch a fish, I am.
Well, they obviously know something's about to happen.
Hey, exactly.
Okay, I think I've got one. Nick me bait. You see, and this is the amazing thing about TV. All of a sudden, a turbot will just appear on that bench over there. Fresh from the fishmongers. We're going to cook this whole, because when you get a beautiful bit of turbot like this, and this is actually quite a small one, and I'm going to cook this classic, a little homage to, well, a dear friend of ours who'll be looking up there laughing at us now, Mr. Keith Floyd, because he would cook this in like a little court bouillon. What I'm going to do is just remove the little fins from the outside of the fish like that. They call this the skirt sometimes, but you just trim it all off. And then just loosen up the tail, like that. Trim this off. Now, take a knife all the way through. Sharp knife. Right through there. And then what I'm going to do is just take the whole fish like this and just pop it in the hot water, first of all. That's going to sit in here. Do you see that, Matt? That seagull just took that whole head away.
I wondered what it was.
It actually couldn't fly onto the cliff as well. This is where we create our aromats, and for that we use white peppercorns. These are really the classic flavours for this. A few bits of white peppercorns. Don't worry, Mark, I'll give you the recipe after this. I know you want it. Bit of bay leaf. A few pieces of parsley. Bit of lemon. So also you put in a few aromats over here. I've got some celery. These are really the classic sort of court bouillon mix. Celery, onions, fennel, and leek. It's all really classed as sort of white veg. You wouldn't put anything roughly like carrots in there, otherwise it's just going to colour the liquid. But chop up your little bit of onion, like that. They can go in. And it's like the ultimate cooking liquor, this, really. Bit of fennel, and I like to use the tops of the fennels, really. They can go in. It really is just a real classic. So I'm going to utilise this fish stock, because I want to poach the fish in it. I'm going to take this out and then make a wonderful little sauce with all what's left over in here. And while that's happening, we can cut to a shot of our professional sea dog over there, bringing out a 600-pound tuna. So while this is cooking, and it cooks so much quicker in a court bouillon, you're only about sort of a fish like this, about 8 minutes, that's all. And also with this, you can utilise the similar sort of ingredients. I'm going to make a lovely little sauce with this, just with some of our fennel. So I'll just thinly slice that because it cooks quite quickly. We get a bit of garlic. It's kind of a variant on a similar dish that I had when I was in France, when I was a young kid learning my trade. You first of all see a court bouillon for the first time and cook a whole fish in it. It's usually done in one of those big fish kettles. There's actually turbot kettles, big, massive, great. You see them sometimes in antique shops. Massive, great pans, about the size of him, 5'10". But that was the first time that I really experienced that classic sort of way of cooking. The other time when I was actually at Buckingham Palace, of all places, not actually dining, in the kitchen. And they have one of these big fish kettles as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, but look at it. Take the fish out. And this can so often be called the king of the sea, really, I suppose, turbot, because mainly because of its price more than anything else, because it is quite expensive, really, when you buy this sort of stuff. But look, we take this liquor. This is the liquor. Chuck it into our bowl. pan back on the heat. Now, the sauce for this, really, really simple. Everything's just cooked in one pan, and then we put the fish back in the pan. But a little bit of butter. And then we're going to get this cooking with our shallots, garlic and fennel. And cook this for a couple of minutes. Now I'm going to turn my attention to the sauce. Really, really simple. I've got some beautiful mussels over here. We've got some clams. I've got some gorgeous scallops over here. And this is a sauce that I've always wanted to cook in somewhere like this because it uses this pastis, that classic French thing that goes in a glass that blows your head off if you have too much of it. Terrific stuff if you have too much of this. It's just mad, but cooking of it, it's really, really simple. Star, aniseedy sort of flavour, fennel flavour, it's wonderful. And we just get handfuls of the mussels, go in, a few clams, all in, scallops. Take a little bit of the old pastis. Keep this away from the flame, really, otherwise we'll have the RNLI after us, because this will make the boat go up properly. And we cook this nicely with double cream, but proper Guernsey. Look at the colour. Hopefully these camera boys are in focus. They usually are. But look at the colour of this. It's not white. It's like yellow. Like that. We're just going to bring this to the boil now and cook this for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm going to add the herbs, add the lemon, put the fish back in, and then we've got supper. So we're just going to finish this off. I've just got a selection of herbs here. I've got some, well, wilted chives, flat leaf parsley, and what looked like dill before we left. We're just going to chop this up. And this goes into it. It's one of these dishes, really, that chefs never do. I don't know why. We just don't do this anymore. We take a nice bit of fish and we always pan fry it and roast it, but you know, cooking it the old classic way, this classic sort of court bouillon, and then you flavour this with this wonderful stock. Just a bit of that in there. Get this gorgeous, gorgeous flavour from it as well. Herbs, a little bit of lemon, just a touch. But then this is the best part of a dish like this. You take the fish and you put it back into it. Started its life in here, and you're going to pop it back in here just to warm it through. Pop all this lot around it. The mussels, everything else. Just look at that. Take your sauce and go over the top with this. It's perfect for a dish like this over here. A little bit of France in Guernsey. It really is a spectacular fish, is turbot, if you can get hold of it. And there it is, turbot court bouillon. Cooked, but sadly, not caught by either of us. A dish to sum up a truly amazing trip. It's an amazing place, that. Mac's a very, very lucky guy to live there. Right, still to come, we've got an incredible fish dish all the way from Cyrus, Todiwala, and I'll be back in the kitchen with my guest, Jane McDonald, a little bit later. But after the break, we've got a masterclass in tomatoes that you don't want to miss. So while you're having a break, I'm going to go pick some. Welcome back. Now, Jane McDonald, we'll be tucking into lamb tagine very shortly, and we've got more brilliant Indian cooking coming up from Mr. Cyrus Todiwala. But first, it's time for this week's little masterclass. This week's masterclass is all about tomatoes, one of my favourite ingredients. And we've got a selection over here as the season starts to come in, really. The ones to look out for if you want to grow your own tomatoes, or if you're looking for ones in the supermarket, I always find brandy wine, really, is the one that I really treasure in terms of flavour. I haven't got any here because this is not quite ready yet. But these black kirin, indigo, that kind of stuff is things to look out for as well. But we've got one here. We've got the black kirin over here. We've got San Marzano. These are your classic tomatoes that you usually find in pizzas and what the Italians really love because they're lovely and sweet, a bit like these ones as well. But if you look at all the different pecorino that we've got over here, there's lots of different ones over here. Marmont, these little tiny ones. You can do loads of things with it, hot or cold. So the first thing is we think about tomatoes, we think about those tomatoes on toast. That simple little dish that you get in Spain, really, really classic. The best way to do that, really, is take a bowl, a little grater, and then all you want to do is get some really good flavoursome tomatoes. So I would use things like, if you can get the brandy wine ones, which are really good, but these ones over here that we've got on there as well. So nice tomatoes that we've got on here. Now, you want them slightly soft, not too firm. Now, interestingly enough, they call stuff vine ripened now. I think all tomatoes are vine ripened. It's a marketing technique. Many, because the tomatoes, when they're produced, don't have far to travel, so they're all ripened on the vine anyway. It's ridiculous. So we just pop that in there, and then what we're going to do is just grate these and take the thick end of a grater, which we've got over here, and grate them like that. So you're just taking, not the skin, you're just taking the tomato like that, and you're just grating it like this as you go. So all the way through. And what you end up with is a nice little pulp, including the seeds. But you just grate this through here. So good idea is keep the skin on. Protects it from grating your fingers more than anything else. But we grate this all the way through. And you do this on sort of a large grater as well, so not the smaller one. And you grate these through. Now, these are the classic sort of tomatoes that you get. There's beautiful, lovely tomatoes, really fresh, vibrant flavour. So you've got to use tomatoes that bang in season. It's no good doing this really in the winter, particularly with, obviously, the tomatoes that are imported. And really, with tomatoes, keep them out of the fridge as well, really. Since a lot of chefs say the taste of fridge is true. You want to keep them out of the fridge. So we're just going to grate these nicely like that. So all the way through. Get the last one. Now, we're going to keep the skins as well, because we can utilise these for something else. So once you get to that stage, get rid of that. Get yourself a bowl. And then we pour this in there. So this, we want to get rid of, well, not get rid of it, but we want this juice. And what we end up with is this nice little pulp that we got in there. So we can just move that to one side. Bit of bread, classically, of course. It's done on here. Nice little bit of sourdough. So cut this up. A couple of those, like that. Nice little bit of olive oil. And then over a griddle. Now, you can do this on a barbecue, which is wonderful. The great thing about these tomatoes is you can make them, particularly this time of year, and then just have them when you have the barbecued toast, which is also brilliant. The other thing we can do is tomato consomme. It sounds very glamorous. It's really, really, really simple to make. I'm taking the skins of the tomatoes that we've got over here. That goes in here with the remaining bits of tomatoes. Now, you can actually take the vine of the tomato as well and just put the whole things in. So this is the great thing about this. You can put the San Mazzanos, you can put the sweet. I would stay away from sort of the yellow tomatoes. You want the nice dark skin, a combination of the dark skin ones and the little pecorino, the little sweet ones that we've got over here. So you just put them all in a blender with some salt and pepper. Now, it's up to you whether you put anything aromats in there. You can put things like garlic. You can put a little bit of shallot in there as well. What you're creating is a clear, very, very strong, clear liquid, which tastes amazing, that you can utilise for a variety of different things. So we've got our nice little toast on there. I'll just turn that over. And then what we do is just blend this. Stick it in the blender and just keep blending it. No oil, no water, nothing. You just blend it and blend it and blend it. And as you blend it, you end up with this puree. Now, keep blending it for about 3 or 4 minutes. I won't bother with that. But then you put it through a cloth, like a little muslin cloth. Hang it up. Now, you can either hang it up somewhere like this or hang it up in the fridge. Either way, you do it over a bowl. And what you end up with is this amazing clear liquid, this stuff over here, which is incredible. It's incredible in terms of taste, flavour. The taste is unbelievable. You get this really, it's like a tomato sort of essence, really. You get this whack of flavour. And by just taking this liquid, you can do several different things with it. You can take this liquid, freeze it in ice cube trays, because this is brilliant if you're doing Bloody Marys and stuff like that, or a gazpacho, you can put that over the top, because you get this whack of tomatoes. But if you take this and gradually warm it up, mix it together with a little bit of gelatine. Gelatine, of course, we use leaf gelatine rather than powdered gelatine, because you measure it right. Usually about 8 leaves per litre, something like that, maybe 6 leaves per litre for something like this. Soak it like that, warm up a little bit of it, and then add the gelatine to it, set it, and what you end up with, once it's set, is this amazing jelly. Now, I'll just show you a little bit of this jelly. Look, you've just got this amazing, clear jelly. Now, this stuff is just incredible. You can serve that as a nice little dish. You can chop it all up. You can mix it together with salads, but you get this amazing essence. Now, remember, this you can also use. If you cook this down, mix together with pasta, put lots of olive oil, lots of garlic in there, you take the pulp from this, cook it all down as well. It makes the amazing sauce with it as well. So we're going to go back to our little toast that we've got over here. Take a little bit of garlic. You see, there's lots of different things we can do with this. So rub it with a little bit of garlic over the top, because we want to get that nice little flavour in there. That goes in there, like that. And then what we can do is take a little bit of garlic, which we've got over here, and you will end up with an amazing pulp from this as well. But if you take our tomatoes that we've got in here, there we go. Do one of those, toast. A little bit of garlic, a little bit of basil. Basil, you can just rip it up. Say some really good quality olive oil. That goes in there. Some salt and pepper. Like I said, you can actually freeze that liquid as well. Also brilliant with ice cubes. It's wonderful. You can just take this, mix together. This is how, it's so simple, this, but it just tastes amazing. Look, on here. Nothing else. Doesn't need anything else. Just tomatoes, when they're in season like that, they're absolutely magical. That on toast, a little bit of olive oil, some garlic, some basil. You don't need very little else. Now, other things you could do. Sun-blushed or sun-dried tomatoes. Sun-dried are these ones over here, fully dried, usually in the sun. In this country, we struggle to do this, to be honest with you. But the one thing you can do is cut sun-blushed. The best way to do that is take smaller tomatoes. These are beautiful and sweet. These ones over here, pecorino or something like that. You'll get a variety of different ones, but you can take all these little small baby little cherry tomatoes like that, and you can take them. I love the word fine ripened for PR, it's brilliant. But you just take this on here. And if anybody knows that if you do grow your own tomatoes, there is nothing like that smell that I talked about earlier. You don't get that. Supermarkets try and replicate it by keeping it on the vine and selling it on the vine, that kind of stuff. But you just don't get the same flavour. It's just don't. As soon as you go down to the greenhouse and you just pick them off the vine, the taste is unbelievable. But just going to take our little tomatoes like that. Now you can fill this all up. It's a great way to use them all up. A little bit of salt over the top. Touch of black pepper, like that. A little bit of olive oil. Now, it's up to you whether you add things like aromats. You can put things like star anise in there, which work really well together. You can put a little bit of garlic. You can just put a little bit of fresh thyme on the top. It's entirely up to you what you add to this to not improve the flavour. It's just to complement the flavour from it as well. But I'd keep the flavour quite clean. So fresh thyme, something like that. Now, set the oven like you're cooking meringue. 100 degrees, something like that. Wants to go in there for about 3 hours, something like that. What you're doing is replicating outside, which isn't great weather today, but you're replicating the sunshine by sun blushing it. So pop it straight in the oven. Kind of forget about it. If you've got one of those warming cupboards, that's brilliant for this sort of stuff. And what you end up with is sun blushed, which we've got on here. Now, you can use this to garnish salads and bits and pieces. It's amazing. But you can take some of these amazing little tomatoes. These can go in here, like that, just on the top. Nice and simple. Obviously, it slowly cooks with the garlic. It's amazing. You just take a little bit of basil with it as well. Again, you don't have to be too fancy, just a little bit of ripped up leaves. Nothing too fancy. You don't need anything else. It's just this flavour of tomatoes and basil, nothing else. Don't be too fussy with it. That's that one. The other thing we can do is go classic and go back to my days at college. Tomato concasse. A lot of people talk about tomato concasse. It's de-seeded, de-skinned. The best way to do that is take our tomatoes, and you want sort of firmer tomatoes for this one, and it's better with these, which this sort of shape, really. And what you want to do with these, for tomato concasse, you need a pan of boiling salted water, really, for this. And then you take your tomatoes, you de-eye them. So take these, take the eye out of the tomatoes, like that, and take the eye out, not the entire tomato, or half of the tomatoes. You just want to take the middle bit, the little eye out. Then you put a little cross in the top, or the bottom, like that. And then what we do is we put them into boiling water, like that. And we cook these for about 10 to 15 seconds. Now, the cooking of it's quite important. If they're really soft, you've got to cook it for a lot less time in here. If they're firmer, you've got to cook them for a little bit more, sometimes 20 seconds. But you want to roll them around in here until the skin starts to just gradually peel off. You'll see it just start to peel off a little bit, but they need to go in the pan long enough. Now, there is another way you can do it. You can take a blowtorch. Some chefs do this, and you blowtorch the skin. And you can see you blacken the skin, and when you rub the skin off, it comes off like that. That's another way to get rid of it. But this is just the classic way. And then we roll those around, and then straight into iced cold water. So, bang. They're going to go in here. What the ice cold water does, just stops it from cooking, like that. And then we can take our knife now and then peel these. And you can see how easy the skin just peels off, like that. Now, the longer it's in there, the softer the tomatoes are becoming. So you just want them in there long enough to take the skin off. Now, in a restaurant, we don't waste any of this. So really, with the skin, the seeds, everything else, you're just using that for a variety of different things. From stocks, you're probably making something like that, the little clear soup, the little consomme, the cold consomme that we've got in here. So we don't waste any of it, really. So once you get to that stage, you peel them like that. Now, you can use these for a variety of different things. Some recipes will tell you little petals, where you can just cut them in half like that, cut them in half again, like that. And then we can just take out the seeds. And that is a little tomato petal done. That's just a simple little method that we've been doing for years and years and years. It's de-skinned and de-seeded. We keep this, remember, we don't waste any of this. People think there's a lot of waste in doing the tomato concasse, but we keep everything, of course. So look, once you get to this, we can then do little tomato concasse. So again, you make little petals out of it. So take the seeds out, just roll those out. We do all of it. And we can use this as a little garnish. This is quite a famous garnish, is tomato concasse. It's used for a variety of different things. There's other amazing sauces out there. Sauce vierge is another one, which is a warm vinaigrette with lemon and a little bit of olive oil, which is brilliant for this time of year. But tomato concasse you'll see in classic recipes, which you've got in here. And for that, you then take your tomatoes like this. We can cut them into dice. And that is your classic sort of tomato concasse, the dice de-seeded tomato, which we've got in there. So dice them all up. There we go. And we can utilise this, once they're done, to garnish our little consomme, set little soup. We can take a little bit of that. And a really simple dressing with tomatoes as well. Tomatoes are balsamic, obviously brilliant. But another thing that's great with tomatoes is just a little bit of basil, like this. Touch of olive oil. But then we take some of this. This is sherry vinegar. This is amazing with tomatoes. So a little bit of sherry vinegar. There we go. Mix that together. Salt, pepper. And then you can take another one of these. And mix all this lot together. And you can pop that on there. But this, either on toast, just as it is, it's used as a very famous little garnish, usually in sort of potatoes that have been piped into like a little crescent. You can use those with lamb, with chicken, and with anything really. This, that, and that. So there you have it. A variety of different ways really with tomatoes. You've got the classic over here, well, you've got the set jelly over here with this one, the sun-blush tomatoes over here, and a classic little tomato concasse. But there you have it. Lots of different ways with one of my favourite ingredients to cook with. Tomatoes, done. There you go. Now, if there's anything you'd like to learn about Little Mascus, then do get in touch. We'll see if we can help out right here on the show. Time now for a quick break. But join me again in a couple of minutes when top chef Cyrus Todiwala will be treating me to another one of his stunning recipes. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now I'll be cooking lunch for my guest, Jane McDonald, very shortly. But first, I'm back in the kitchen with an old friend and a true pioneer of top-class Indian cookery in this country. It's the brilliant Cyrus Todiwala. Now, before we start, I've got a complaint. Our post box was rammed full of responses from people saying about this dragon chicken. This is huge response. And now you'd like to publicly apologise to everyone that comes to your restaurant because you've not even put it on your menu.
Yeah, I have to apologize because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to put it on that menu. I tell you, it's been so successful. Everybody coming and saying, I watched you make the dragon chicken. People have been posting on my Facebook and Instagram with their own pictures of dragon
we've
chicken.
got hundreds of photographs as
Wow.
well anyway. So
I didn't know it would be that successful though.
So you've got to match it. What are you going to be doing then?
Well, so today I'm doing a great Parsi classic.
Okay.
And that classic is what we call a Sasni Machi. Sas is an adulterated term for sauce.
Okay.
But it's like a white sauce, but it's a pale white sauce made with onion, ginger, garlic, chili. Always fish, of course.
Okay.
We always use a pomfret in India or Bombay or wherever. And what I've done was the head has gone inside for the stock.
Yeah.
Later on, of course, you can take the flesh off and eat it.
Can you do this with any fish? Like
You can do it with any fish, really. Any fish. Why waste?
salmon, and you could do this with anything like that.
The sauce, you mean?
Yeah.
It's better with white fish.
Okay.
It's much better with white fish. But of course, why not? You can use it with
Because I know you want to get this fish poaching as well, don't you?
I want to get this fish poaching, so I'm going to put it into the liquid. I'm just putting the temperature up slightly.
Okay.
And what we shall do...
Try and keep it on the bone as much as possible?
On the bone is better. You can, people are fussy about using fish fillets.
But it keeps the moisture in it, doesn't it, really?
And then get the flavor into the stock. Plus, of course, how difficult is it to pick a piece of fish off the bone? Especially fish like this with just a central bone and not many lateral bones,
Yeah. Now, we talked about your restaurant at the beginning of this. Tell us, everybody, about your restaurant. Because whenever I see you and we chat to each other, you're looking out onto the River Thames.
Yes.
So tell everybody where your restaurant is, where people can come and see you.
So our restaurant is now in a place called the Royal Albert Wharf.
Yeah.
Which is just behind City Airport.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic location. People love it these days because now you can see the aircraft landing and taking off.
Yeah.
And it's great because it sits straight on the waterfront. But we are doing quite a few events now, and hopefully when the weather gets better, we'll have seating outside.
That's brilliant.
So people can come, relax, enjoy a couple of drinks.
Well, you look at the city airport, there's a lot of particularly residents live there, tons of residents that live there as well.
Yes, it's becoming they are trying to push London eastwards to take the pressure off the west.
Yeah.
And I think this will be the new...
and you're in prime position when that happens.
Well, yes. Hopefully.
So what's that? You put coriander and mint into it?
I put coriander. I'm going to chop up some mint now. So this is very typical Parsi flavoring, very typical.
Yeah.
So everything's
this
soft.
Again is for the end.
This is for the end. This is for our, when you call the Royal or...
It's quite interesting. I'll be looking forward to see this because when you're doing the French version of a sort of what I said about a blanquette, you've cooked the chicken and then you've got this bowl of cream and egg yolks and you're almost petrified about doing this because you've got one shot at it and otherwise you've got to start it. You can't sieve it. You can't do it again. It's just that's it in and then serve it straight away. It's not a dish
remember
you can really eat, is it?
Old when we had a la carte in the old classic restaurants, and you finish that a la minute, as we say it, at the point of where the customer is to be served.
Yeah.
Always scary.
Yeah.
And the chef is always glaring over you. Make a mistake and I whack you on the head. So what I've got there now is crushed cumin.
Okay.
Castor sugar.
All right.
Okay, or regular sugar, of course.
Yeah.
Bit of salt.
Yeah.
And some vinegar.
See, the vinegar's unusual for this.
Vinegar's unusual, so
That's
we can add
malt vinegar, is it?
That's a malt vinegar. We normally use malted cane vinegar.
Right.
That's getting ready now, so I'll turn the heat down a bit, and we just strain some stock over.
Yeah. So this is when you make it like a classic roux.
It's a classic roux. Yeah. So that's the cheating part of it. Yeah. Mum is not here to watch anymore.
Right.
So no criticism. Again, I mean, the great fish stock, if you got fish stock left, you would never throw it out. Not if you got turbot in it. Just keep it, let it... the turbot is cooking nicely. It's just about firm now, but if you give it a minute in the sauce afterwards, it'll come out great. I just put this on the side here. We are nearly there now. I just put the...
Right. So using a whole egg, rather than the French would just use the egg yolk?
They would just use the egg yolk. I'm using the whole egg because you won't find an Indian wasting it, no?
Right.
And there are not very many things you do with egg whites.
Yeah.
Unless you had the patience to put meringue into the oven and sit with it.
Yeah.
So we're not cooking it, so we just finish it at the end.
Now this is the panic bit.
This is the panic bit. This is the panic bit.
Because you're treating this like a savoury custard, technically.
It is like a savoury custard, really.
You're using the eggs to thicken it, but too much, it'll scramble egg.
It'll scramble egg.
Yeah.
Let me do one thing first, before I do forget.
Right. Fish looks amazing.
As fresh as it gets.
You were saying, what fish would you use in India for this?
It's called the pomfret. It's the family of the pompano.
Yeah.
The Americans have a fish called the pompano.
Yeah.
Same family. But, you know, funnily enough, you get a pomfret from the Arabian Sea and you get a pomfret from the East Coast, which is the Bay of Bengal.
Yeah.
And the taste is different. It's just strange that the fish doesn't taste the same. Okay, sir, hold it there.
Yeah.
Here I come.
So this is like a savoury custard. Imagine this being the hot milk with the vanilla in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's already thickened up in the bowl. But it's good to do this because if you put it directly into that dish,
yeah,
you're going to break it up very quickly.
Yeah. It's thickened up straight away.
Look at the color. It's thanks to the egg, of course.
He's got a smile on his face because that's work bang on. The key to now is don't cook it anymore. Just...
Don't cook it anymore. Cook it, but be careful.
Yeah.
So just for the seasoning taste. Oh, wow. First time lucky.
I doubt it's the first time, Chief.
Yeah. And here we go. This one's a little wider. It's great how that stock has come together.
Yeah,
it's just
fantastic.
That's the fish is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just let it give a little simmer. In the meantime, let me just warm up some chapati.
Okay.
So we got a couple of chapatis there. Let's put this plank of wood here.
It's ready.
One chapati there. I don't know if people have ever served a grilled chapati before, but it's always a first time.
That's great.
Sorry for the mess. Turn you off.
Never seen anything like this.
I just thought I'll do it because it's different. No, sir, you stay off the heat. And maybe a nice mint leaf there. And maybe some nice coriander there. And there you go, sir.
So give us the name of this dish.
This is Sasni Machi. Ne rotli. Means Sasni Machi with chapatis. Fish in a creamy sauce with chapatis.
I told you he was a legend. Cyrus, everybody. Looking forward to this then, Chief.
Yep. So here you go, sir.
People are going to be intrigued going, did you see the amount of sugar that you put in there?
Was it?
Yeah, sugar and vinegar and bits and
butter.
And the colour of this differs because of the egg yolks that we've given you.
That's it. The egg has to make it.
Before you start giving me any grief, you know, because in theory this would be whiter.
Whiter, yeah. Because the eggs we have in India, we use the Leghorn chicken eggs.
Right.
With the yolk is so much whiter than this. I mean, pale yellow compared to this.
That fish is perfectly cooked. I know I'm never going to taste anything like this. That's incredible. The sauce is amazing. And it's really weird. No, it's really weird because in my head, it's thinking it's going to be the French classic. You're talking about that Chinese crossover.
And here's a crossover.
Here's a crossover, but totally the flavour of the sauce is amazing. I've never tasted anything like that before. The man's a legend. Cyrus Todiwala, everybody.
Thank Thank you.
That is delicious. Right, still to come. We've got one final dish this morning. Join me after the break when we're serving up a lamb tagine for Jane McDonald. I'll see you in a bit. I'm going to eat this first. This is unbelievable. Mate, that's delicious. Welcome back to the last part of the show, but I'm back in the outside kitchen this time with my fabulous guest, the one and only Jane McDonald. Right, for my final dish, I thought I'd make a classic little lamb tagine. And I say classic, it's variant of a classic, really, because sometimes it's done with stuff on the bone. I know you've had it before, and it just falls off. The key to it is long, slow cooking, I think, more than anything else. But I've got in here my lamb meat. I've got in shoulder and leg, so a combination of half and half. Into that, what we're going to do is we're going to add our selection of spices, first of all. Now, the three main spices that I'm going to use for this one is a little bit of cumin, ground cumin, a touch of saffron. Try and use saffron and not turmeric. It doesn't taste like saffron. And then rasa hanout.
What?
Rasa hanout.
Rasa hanout.
Rasa hanout, which is a combination of different spices, and each of them vary. Depends where you buy it from, depends who you buy it from. Some people have their own particular recipe, but you look out for the ones that's got a little bit of rose petal, dry rose petals in it. Right. And it's a combination of spices that you really need for this. So rasa hanout.
Rasa hanout.
Rasa
It sounds Scottish, doesn't it?
Rasa hanout. And then we take our lamb and we just pop our lamb straight in here. Now, if you're doing a shoulder of lamb, a whole shoulder of lamb, a leg of lamb, you still keep the same process applies. You just mix it all together or rub it over the top. It's just going to take a lot longer to cook, obviously, when you've got stuff on the bone. But with this, it's perfect. It's going to need about 3 hours, this, anyway, to cook. What you want to do is just marinate this. Now, you can leave it for half an hour, you can leave it for overnight. It's entirely up to you, but whatever you do, marinate it. That's what you want. And I've got one that's in here. So this is the marinated version. Now, once we get to this stage, normal conventional stews, you would brown off all the meat and brown off all the things. You don't need to worry about this. It's just throw it all in.
Right.
That's one of the great things with it. So you start off, we've got some onions. The aromats we've got on here, I've got some onions, I've got garlic, a little bit of chilli. I've got some ginger. With the ginger, I use the ginger puree. You can also buy that from the supermarket. Pure ginger already done.
Really?
Yeah, it already comes in a squeezy bottle. Used to be cheese in a tube. Now it's ginger in a tube, thank God. But got rid of that cheese in the tube. I remember that. Oh. Weddings, funerals. I remember that as a kid. It scarred me for life as a kid. Squeezed onto celery.
Oh, I know.
Chopped into 2-inch pieces. Yeah, old weddings. There we go. So we take our... No wonder the weddings didn't last long. Right.
When that's all you've got in your fridge, it's, you know...
Not a good start for a wedding, but anyway.
Not.
So we start off with the thing is with this, it's going to break down when it cooks. So you just pop all this lot in. Then we can just pop this straight into our pan. And we start this cooking away nicely. So that can go straight in. So this is actually one of your favourite dishes, isn't it, really?
I love it. I love meat that is soft in my mouth. I love it.
But this is when you've travelled around all over the place, wherever you've been all over the place, and you've travelled the world. We talked about the cruise ships as well.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about the TV show that you've ended up doing as well, cruising around as well.
Yeah.
That's after the pandemic you've been doing that.
Yeah, it's not cruising this time. I'm in hotels this time.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it because I get to see more of the place. You know, we were a bit limited when you're on a cruise ship to get everything in, but now we're sort of staying in one place. It's brilliant. But
I worked on cruise ships for a while, but did you get the time to get up and have a wander around? You must have done. Have a wander around as well.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's like a smorgasbord, isn't it? Have I said that right?
Yeah.
Smorgasbord.
Because
smorgasbord.
We'll edit so it's in. Go on, yeah. Smorgasbord.
Yeah, that's the one. That's it.
Schmur. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Because you get a little taste of where you want to go and visit. I think that's the great thing about cruising. You know, you think, oh, I'd like to come here on my holidays.
But of all the places where you've been, I mean, you've been all over the world as well. You've travelled more than anybody else I've spoken to in a long, long time. Where's you say your favourite place is Yorkshire, but
it is.
But pick your favourite place abroad. Where is it? Because you know, I've been to some amazing places. I've travelled like you have. I've never been to Australia. I've never been to Asia. All that kind of stuff. I'd love to go. Where's one of the places where you just think that's wow? By the way, this goes in the oven now.
Yeah.
It's in the oven. Yeah.
I like every single place has got its own magic. You know, I love Italy.
Yeah.
I think Italy is just. There's just something about Italy. It's classy. It looks beautiful. It's got history, great food, but I think food in the United Kingdom is the best food in the world. And I have travelled numerous times, and I still think the food here.
Well, Jane, can I tell you, as a young chef, it never used to be that. Right. So
things
I remember.
have changed.
Well, I remember going to France when I was a young kid, and we were sort of, some people say rightly frowned upon in terms of our food. They used to treat you as sort of roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, and everything was overcooked, which was, to be fair, they had a point. But I think there's been a huge transformation, hasn't there, in the last sort of 20, 30, 40 years. There's been a massive transformation now. So.
I do think we've moved on from tripe.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, we're not here to talk about food. This is the taboulet that I'm going to make as well. You're here because we're talking about your album as well. So tell us, you say with your album as well that you even forgot the name of it earlier.
I did. Let the light in. I remembered
it. That's the one. That's the one. You say that this has been your best bit of work yet.
Yeah, I do, because I think, you know, when you work closely with a producer and a band, I've never had the privilege of working with my band on an album before, but during lockdown, obviously, we were all there. Yeah. So it was a special time.
So timing really is the most important thing with that one, I guess.
Yeah. And if anything good came out of lockdown, I think personally for me, it was my album and working with the band.
Because your album is a mixture of covers, new stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
How do you? Because you've been into writing all your life, really. Haven't you?
I have. Yeah.
How do you find that as you get more popular in terms of is that you get more pressure with that? So I often think with, you know, I say to chefs and they brought out a new book and I'm going, right, wait till the second one.
Yeah.
That's when But do you find that with the music industry as well? Must be the similar sort of thing.
Well, it is. You always think, oh, it's not going to be as good as my last one, but. Because I get the chance to do a lot of covers as well with the Channel 5 stuff, which I absolutely love. You know, I get to cover some amazing songs. Yeah. But you learn, and I think life gives you wisdom and life gives you experience. And to be honest, I wouldn't go back to being young again and having to go through all that again. Now I'm at a lovely stage in my life where I can think, right, I'm going to write this song now and I'm going to write it about this, and I take my time. And because I've got so much experience in love, loss, everything.
We've met over the years and you seem very relaxed now.
I am a lot more relaxed, aren't I?
Yeah. Well, you did, but that's because you've got nothing to
worry about.
Well, nothing to worry about, nothing to sort of stress yourself about and all that kind of stuff. You just feel, you appear a lot more relaxed.
Oh, good. I'm glad you think that. Yeah.
She was stressing me out earlier about this, but anyway, right. So look, we've got these are our almonds that I've toasted. Yeah. So these are going to go into our taboulet. This is not couscous. This is bulgur wheat. Right. The way that we make this is very different. You don't put boiling water over it. This is bulgur wheat. Mm. And couscous is a manufactured product. Right. There's no such thing as couscous. It's made. It's a bit like pasta. It's just made. Right. Right. So this actually comes from this is so this bulgur wheat. It's cracked grain. Right. And what you do with this is you just soak it, and no need to put any boiling water on it. Cold water. Just soak it like that. Leave it for an hour or two.
So this is healthy, isn't it?
This bit is.
Yeah.
Just ignore this bit in a minute.
Don't talk about that. Well, actually, this bit's healthy.
There's no butter in this bit yet. This is some olive oil and bits and pieces. But this is where we take tons of herbs.
Lovely.
And this is the thing with I think with stuff like this, the colours from it are amazing. So not only does the lamb look spectacular, but you want loads and loads of colour, and you get that from loads and loads of herbs. So that this is in here. I've got some mint. I've got coriander. I've got parsley. We use the entire lot, stalks, everything. Chop the whole thing. Don't waste none of it. We put all that in there as well.
I love that you just get it all in. You know, every bit. There's no waste with you. That's the Yorkshire in you.
Well, it's in my house, so you're not wasting this. But look, we just mix all this lot together, and it's the lemon that we're going to put in there that creates this wonderful little dressing. But this is where you get this glorious colour from it as well. Look, get this jewelled bits and pieces. Well, look, we got in here. This is our beautiful taboulet or tabbouleh, which we've got in here. But I'm just going to lift this off. Look at the colour of this. It's amazing colours.
Oh, look at that.
And I think this just looks glorious as it is.
Well, you could just have that as a salad, couldn't you? And just.
Which you could do. Yeah. You might need to divvy it up between the rest of the house, but rather than just eat this.
You haven't seen me eat.
But we got. Look, I'll lift a bit of it on here. That. But then what I want to show you is just what I've got in the oven, cooking away nicely. So remember, this is the tagine that I put the lid on. The tagine is the pot that you put this on. I'll bring it over. So it would usually conventionally be cooked on an open fire. So
really?
This is it's quite handy putting it in a fire like this. But I mean, in an oven, again, it's the same amount of time, 3 hours, something like that. But the reason why you put it in this tagine, you can tell it keeps the steam in. And a lot of times with these tagines, you'll find cooks as well, I've seen it as well, is they seal it with pastry. So they take this salt water paste and seal the little seal the little hole like that, and it steams it even more.
Wow.
So when it cooks for 8, 9, 10 hours, it doesn't...
Look at that.
All that lovely sort of flavour.
And how long has that been
away.
cooking
This
for?
has been cooking for 3 hours.
Oh.
But look, you take a little bit of this.
Right, a little bit of that.
Same herbs, all going in. Nice amount of salt in there as well. Mix this all together. And this is your lovely tagine. Look.
Wow.
You mix all that in. Lift this over.
I love this. It's right rustic out here, isn't
Well,
it?
it is, isn't it? I love cooking out here, though. It's just, you got fire. Wherever you look, there's fire.
Oh, you're such a bloke.
This is just fire everywhere. But look, you've got this beautiful tagine.
Look at that.
It's been cooking really, really gently. But whether you're doing chicken, whether you're doing lamb, whether you're doing fish, it's all to do with cooking times. Chicken would take about 1 hour and 10 minutes in a tagine like that.
Yeah.
But with lamb like this, beef about 3 hours as well. Just give it long, slow cooking like that. There you have it. My lamb tagine with a little jewel couscous or tabbouleh. Done.
Marvellous, guys.
Well, there we have it. Bon appetit.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's a long way back home, so we'll put this in a little doggy bag for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, James, thank you.
Well, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of the lamb. The lamb is just slowly cooked.
Let me get my knife in here, look.
Taste it with a little bit of bulgur wheat as well.
That is incredible.
It is. And when they're really in season, fresh peaches, you can pop them on and pop those in as well. It's absolutely delicious.
Oh, God.
There we have it. Best of luck with the album anyway.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. I'll see you on tour.
See you in
No doubt.
Scarborough.
Yeah, but you've signed me up for that
I
already
have.
anyway. But
Scarborough
anyway, we're moving on
Jubilee.
before she properly signs me up. That's it. That's it. All we got time for today. Thanks to my fabulous guests, Faye Kitchen, Cyrus, Todiwala, Claude, Bosi, and the amazing Jane McDonald.
Oh, thank you.
There we go. We'll see you back here at the same time next Saturday morning. We'll be joined by chefs Simon Holston, Peter Wright, the Yorkshire vet, and the one and only Ruth Langsford will be here. Until then, take care, stay safe. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now.